Hey, so I just finished. Let me put my phone up on something because I realized the reason it's so quiet over there is because the thing I'm putting it on is blocking my microphone. Here, this will work. Because it's not stood up. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but come on, asshole. There we go. All right, you should be able to hear me better now. Right. So I just finished. Let me go back on. There we go. I just finished FullMetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and it was great. It was. I have This is my first, I guess, somewhat scripted video. I have this isn't scripted, right? But I have notes written down that I took throughout my experience of watching it, and I have them pulled up on my TV. Which, if you didn't know, during all of these videos when I have the camera upright like this, my phone is leaning on my TV, right? So I have my notes right up here, right? So yeah, this is my first scripted video. Not fully scripted, but I just I have talking points at least, right? I'm not just rambling. So I'll just go off of. I'll just go in the order that I wrote these in, right? It's in no particular order, right? And there will be spoilers. These reviews are intended, my anime reviews are intended for people who have watched the series. Because everything I'm about to say is going to make no sense to you if you haven't watched it. So, first thing, right? Scar is my favorite written character in anime. In all of anime, his entire, his whole character, his plot development, everything about him is amazing. Just, not just him, but the entire, I guess, storyline around Ishval, right? With Roy Mustang and everyone else who was there. It's just the way they portrayed war and hatred and forgiveness in the show is just it's amazing, right? It's really good. But especially Scar, right? Scar and Roy Mustang's relationship in the show is just it's amazing, right? I don't know, just the character development between both of them and forgiving each other, and it's great. Right? But moving on, the intros, right? The intro to the show. The first intro is actually one of my favorite anime openings ever. It's not super intense, flashy and everything. It's not like that. It's very subtle, but it perfectly portrays what the anime is what it is, right? I heard footsteps, I'm sorry. But just the first intro is amazing. It's really good. Every other, and the first outro was okay. Every intro and outro from there is meh. But that first intro is amazing. Alright, let me scroll down my notes. I guess I already said this because I tied it into a Scar thing, but the way they portray war and the consequences of war in the show is really good. It's just it's not really something that you can explain. You would have to watch it. But assuming you've gotten to this point in the video, you have watched it, so you know what I'm talking about. Just the entire way they, I guess, I don't know, it's comparable to Attack on Titan. In terms of, how good their portrayal of war is. But I feel the difference is that the Ishval War, I feel is kind of a subplot of this, it's a subplot of the show, whereas with Attack on Titan, it's the main focal point of the show. So the fact that they did it just as well it's good, right? They did really good, the people writing the show. After this, we have the voice acting. This is, Jace told me, I was gonna watch this in Japanese, right, sub, but he was no, watch it in dub, and I did, and I don't fucking regret it. The voice acting is the voice acting is really, really, really good. Like, really good. And they got Troy Baker to voice Greed, which is fucking awesome. But, yeah, I don't really have... Oh, right. My favorite voice actor in the show, easily, Alphonse. Alphonse's voice actor is fucking amazing. At least in dub. I don't know about sub. But in his... Oh my... Just... The way he talks... I think... Maybe it's because I noticed it less. At the start of the series, his voice actor was, like, amazing. And I don't know if it's just because I stopped noticing how good he was or if he just generally got worse. I feel like as the series went on, he started, like... I don't know, he talks differently, I guess, once the series goes on. But I don't know if that's just my perception or, you know, the voice actor actually, like sounding different. But either way, at the start of the series, he's amazing. Later on, he might be as good, I think. Because, you know, like I said, I don't know if something, like... I think it might just be that I got used to hearing him so much, I was just like, he sounds okay now, right? But he is really amazing throughout. One thing I didn't like about the show is I felt the world building was lacking a little. And what I mean by that is the world itself just doesn't feel very lively. Like there just feels like there's no life, right? Actually, that's a lie. Like, it feels lively, it just doesn't feel like a good example of really good world building is Edge Runners, right? The world feels like the world around just tells like a whole story. It's amazing, right? With this show, I feel it's more of like, I don't know, the world just doesn't feel as alive. I'm not gonna like take points away from it for it, right? Because it's alright. It's not bad enough where I would be like, oh, this is, man, really? You know, like, most anime struggle with this, right? I don't, and it's such just like a minor issue, it doesn't really matter, right? But after this, we have, Kimberly's Drip. Kimberly's Drip is nuts. This man got the, like, white pants, white jacket, the purple tie. This man is dripped out, right? That's about it, though. After that, we have Major, not General, Major, the woman. Major Armstrong is a good character. At least that's just what it says in my notes, but I know what I'm talking about, right? So when I wrote this, what I meant was pretty much, because I remember what I was thinking when I wrote this, and at the time, right, she was like the first character in the show that showed up who had any kind of fucking like resolve, right? And what I mean by that is, I don't know, just everyone in the show up until this point just felt like kind of like, it felt like weak, right? And that's not like that's not really the right way of putting it. No, it's a bad way of putting it. It's really, sorry. Her, I guess, like she's a very devoted character, right? I shouldn't have put down the art. Like, again, the art characters are great. I didn't... Yeah, no. It's... Like, she has a strong presence, I feel like, is what I meant. Like, she makes every other character, even characters that, like, could physically beat her, just feel, like, smaller. That's not to say they're bad characters. It's just, her presence is very, like, you know, just there. She's a good character. Right? And her entire relationship between her and, like, her soldiers or whatever is really good. After this, we just have King Bradley is badass. Don't really have to explain this one. He's actually one of my favorite characters in the fucking show. Yeah, I mean, like, in terms of... Because, like, his character is okay. I don't love him, don't hate him. He's just kind of, like, there in terms of character. But every fight with him is fucking amazing. Like, every fight with him is awesome. Especially him versus Scar at the end. Amazing. Then after that, we have Tim Marco and Scar's relationship. I really liked. I forgot to mention this earlier when I was talking about Scar. Yeah, his relationship with Tim Marco is really good as well, even though it's like not really brought up much. Let me scroll down. Wait, what did I say? Oh yeah, Scar and Winry's relationship as well is good. Is really good because Scar killed her parents and just the whole forgiveness thing. It was really just Scar's relationship with everybody is amazingly written. He's such a good character. He is my favorite written anime character easily. He's amazing. But after this we have Van Hohenheim. Is a great twist character. And the reason I say this is because I guess for the first part of the show it's supposed to he's supposed to be the villain, right? Like it's implied that he's the villain because it never because pretty much the actual villain is like a clone of him, right? But that's not told to you until later, right? So throughout the show, you just get some scenes of him, right? Not talking time, but it's just flashbacks, I guess, of him, and it's pretty much just supposed to portray him as a bad guy until you realize oh, the RD's a clone. But yeah, he's a really good twist character, and following up with that, his death is amazing, right? Because his entire thing was just the way he died was cool, right? Because he had his whole redemption arc and everything, right? Of being a good dad, and then the way he died, he went right up to his wife's grave, kneeled down, and just died, right? Which obviously, if you haven't watched the show, it's oh, that's okay, but once you watch it, the importance of it and just his whole redemption arc following up to that, it's great. Van Hohenheim is one of my favorite characters in the show. I would like to say there is no character I dislike in this show. If there had to be one, I would say I just can't think of a bad character in the show. All of them are so amazingly written. But yeah, following up with that, Ling and Greed's relationship is the entire. It's almost like a parasitic or symbiotic, I think would be the word. Yeah, symbiotic. Yeah, their relationship is just really cool, and Greed's death, this isn't in my notes, but just Greed's death is really his evolution as a character is really good. And then the Ling's cool as well. But I feel Greed really took the spotlight. Let me scroll down. Zampano and Jerso are amazing support characters, right? Because they're not even secondary characters, right? I would just consider them just support characters, right? But they just do such a good job of the roles that they fulfill. Even though it's not a hugely important role in the show, it's really good. That's about it. And then these are my last two notes. The ending is amazing. The way they just tie up all the characters is great. Alphonse going out to the east to go study shit, and then Edward going out to the west, and his whole group tying things up with one ring. It's great. Right, the ending is really good. But my final note, right? This anime has my favorite ending quote, right? Because usually most animes have this at the very end, the main character, I don't know, they'll be standing out a window or something, and it's their thoughts, right? And they'll think of some quote, right? Because they usually just the anime ends on quote, right? The quote is amazing. I didn't write down what the quote was, but it was something I don't know. It was all about about how after enduring all of life's difficulties, you will have learned a very great lesson, and you will have a heart made full metal. And it's great. The ending quote is really good. Now, with this all being said, in terms of how much I enjoyed the anime, 10 out of 10. Easy. 10 out of 10. Loved it. My only complaint is that I guess the first 30 episodes are mid, and no one really starts to turn up after that. But I feel you kind of need that build up, right? So it makes sense. So I'm not gonna take cause you know you just that's how fucking story works. It goes up. It's not like just consistently, you know, just at the top constantly. Like that's just not how shit works. You need build up, right? So I understand. In terms of other anime I've watched, with the worst being Danganronpa, fucking regret watching it, terrible. The community is bad as well. And the best being, of course, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I gotta give this... I'm gonna give it a 9.2. It's... no. No. 9.5. It's... This is the only anime I've watched so far that I was debating putting ahead of Edge Runners. The only one, right? And that is, in of itself, is a feat. Yeah, this show is a fucking masterpiece. I suggest you go watch. Well, if you're at this point, you've probably already watched it, so I'm not gonna tell you to go watch it. But if for whatever reason you're at this point in the video and you haven't watched it, don't watch it, because I just told you everything that happens in this, or I just told you a lot of like things that happen in the show. So, actually, I guess not really. I mean, I went over some. Go watch it. Whatever, doesn't matter. Just go watch it. But yeah, this anime is really, really fucking good. Loved it. Where do I put this? Oh, this isn't in my notes, but just another thing I want to add on, because I forgot to put this in my notes. I actually, I thought this. The power system, just the way they handle power in the show is really, like, creative, and I really like it. Because the whole, like, alchemy system, or alchemy too, I guess, both of them are amazing. It's, I think, one of my favorite power systems in anime. Because it's tied more around knowledge than actual, just, like, I don't know, like, because in live anime, it's just like, oh, this motherfucker was born with, like, a special power, you know, like, or he was born with, like, the ability to get great power, right? With this anime, I really like it because unless you were homunculus, all of your power was just based around knowledge, instead of just, you know, natural ability, which I really liked. I'm trying to think. Is it... I guess... Oh, right. While we're on the topic, I've decided to bump Gurren Lagann's score up, right? Because I think I gave it like an 8 something. I forget. Just 8 point something, right? But I feel like it's too close to this anime for me to, like it shouldn't be that low, right? So I'm bumping it up to a 9.1. 9.2. And the reason I say that is just because, like, I feel like it's unfair to really, like, put them on a scale, right? Because, you know, I put my, like, it's unfair to say FullMetal Alchemist is better than Gurren Lagann. And it's unfair to say Edge Runners is better than either of them, because they're all very different shows, and all of them are amazing at what they do. So, in my mind, right, they're all equal to me. I love all of them. They're all amazing. But if I had to rank them, this is how I would rank them. Just in terms of, like, because my rankings are based mostly, obviously my enjoyment ranking is just based off of how much I enjoyed it, which for Edge Runners, FullMetal Alchemist, and Gurren Lagann, I gave 10 out of 10 to all of them, right? And that's for a reason, because they're all great. But I feel like with the like I guess scale score where I compare it to other anime, it's more based on less on. Sorry, I thought I heard footsteps. It's basically less off of my personal enjoyment and experience of the show, and more of just like notes, right? Just how good was the writing, how good was the animation, stuff like that. I don't really take animation into account, but still. Yeah, so to say one is better than the other is really unfair. But if I had to rank them, this is how I would rank them. That's about it. I think that's enough rambling. This anime is great, and you should go watch it. See ya.